Welcome to a PSS webinar about advanced protein and MAB characterization using SEC and hyphenated coupling techniques. It is our pleasure to give you a compact overview of the PSS analytical tools for an advanced protein and MAB analysis using GPC-SEC and a variety of compatible detection techniques to gain a deeper insight into the structural and dimensional behavior of proteins and MABs, especially interesting for aggregation and degradation studies. So let me first give you an overview of what PSS, our company, is doing. We are interested in the elucidation of structure-property-function relationships of macromolecules by molecular characterization techniques in solution, and we are therefore developing easy-to-use and compliant products and services for this. As macromolecules are used in all markets, from automotive and pharma to wood and paper industry and food industry, we reach all these markets with our products. In today's presentation, I will focus on a fairly new section PSS has opened for our pharmaceutical cooperation partners searching for solutions to characterize biotherapeutics such as monoclonal antibodies with respect to their structure and dimension in solution. For this, PSS offers well-designed products for GPC-SEC applications to characterize this kind of biomacromolecules. Although this overview is only 20 minutes and there's no time to waste, we should nevertheless have a look on the agenda of this presentation. I would like to start with a short introduction and a summary of the GPC-SEC principles and to point out why the separation technique is highly suitable for the analysis of proteins and monoclonal antibodies. I will then continue to the SEC hyphenation with advanced detection techniques, including the light scattering and mass spectrometry. Even with the most sophisticated detection options at hand, I stand with one of my favorite statements that columns are the heart of any successful GPC-SEC experiment. Thus, we have dedicated a short section to our new PSS MAB column 2. Last but not least, I want to give you as well a short insight into our current approaches to MAB analysis and share the latest results and ideas with you. One of the most versatile tools to investigate macromolecular structures is GPC-SEC, gel permeation or size exclusion chromatography. It is an entropy-controlled liquid chromatography technique that separates molecules based on their size, or rather their hydrodynamic volume, in solution. With calibration or advanced detection, GPC-SEC allows for the determination of the molar mass distribution. This animation illustrates the GPC-SEC principle. Then various macromolecules of different sizes are given in one solution and are separated by their size. In SEC, macromolecules with highest hydrodynamic volume elute first, and macromolecules with smallest size elute latest, as they can penetrate more pores if available. Through changing the porosity of the GPC stationary phase, a suitable separation range can be designed for your analyte of interest, aiming for a highly resolved elution profile. In GPC-SEC, the macromolecules are separated by size only. Thus, as shown here, molecules of similar size but different chemical properties cannot be separated with one-dimensional SEC-based chromatography. However, the huge advantage of a separation technique based on a physical parameter, the size, allows for a non-destructive determination of molar mass distributions of various fractions. Therefore, GPC-SEC is also widely applied to investigate critical quality attributes of proteins and monoclonal antibodies. While on the previous slide the elution order in the GPC-SEC was visualized, here we have a closer look at the stationary phase and how it is even possible to separate complex but also globular proteins only by their size. GPC-SEC columns are filled with porous particles differing in particle and pore sizes. typical particle sizes in analytical GPC-SEC range from sub-2 micrometer particles applied in oligomer and protein separations to approximately 20 micrometers for separations of ultra-high molar mass macromolecules or for fractionating larger sample amounts. The separation takes place in the pores of the column. While larger sizes cannot penetrate any pores, they elute first. Smaller sizes will diffuse into the pores and back and are thus retarded on their way through the column. GPC-SEC is a relative technique. The primary information is the measured elution volume. To obtain molar mass averages and the molar mass distribution, either a column calibration using reference materials is required or the use of specific molar mass sensitive detectors. Based on this information, the following 3 facts point out why GPC-SEC is so highly suitable for biomacromolecules. First, the GPC-SEC separation principle relies on a physical parameter. Second, the use of buffers simulating native and physiological conditions is possible. And last but not least, the hyphenated techniques are non-destructive. These advantages enable to analyze the proteins and MABs while maintaining their structural integrity. Another benefit is that the applied coupling techniques provide information on structure and dimension of the measured macromolecules, as well as they enable monitoring of conformational changes, which makes it even more interesting for aggregation and degradation studies of proteins and MABs. Now we've discussed the GPC-SEC principles and why SEC is highly suitable for the analysis of proteins and MABs, but then the question pops up what antibodies are. Antibodies, also known as immunoglobulins, are glycoproteins built from polypeptide chains and are binding proteins with effector activities, which strongly depend on their conformation. Thus, to ensure their efficacy when applied, their stability and hence their structural integrity are crucial. There are 5 classes as depicted to the right-hand side. IgG with the highest abundance of about 75%, followed by the IgA, IgM, IgD, and IgE. Each of them exhibits different specific functions. Nowadays, monoclonal antibodies are used in a variety of ways, for example applied as biotherapeutics and immunotherapies, or are used for targeted labeling and imaging. We focus on the application of MABs in medicine as biotherapeutics. They must always be controlled with regard to their critical quality attributes throughout their whole life cycle. Otherwise, this can have serious consequences, such as immunogenicity. GPC-SEC allows for monitoring CQAs such as the molar mass distribution, size and conformation, conjugation, and of course the concentration, so the number of particles in solution. To the right-hand side, the Y-shaped IgG has in its native form a molecular weight of approximately 150 kilodalton, composed of a light and a heavy chain, each with a constant and variable domain. The light chain has a molar mass of around 25 kilodalton and the heavy chain is about 50 kilodalton. With this information given, we will change the subject and we will have a look at possible GPC-SEC hyphenation with advanced detection techniques. One of the strengths of GPC-SEC is that its fractionation power can be combined with advanced detection. State-of-the-art are GPC-SEC systems comprising of a concentration detector coupled to a molar mass sensitive detector, such as a viscometer or light scattering detector. Hyphenation with a mass spectrometer is also applicable. These detector combinations allow for the determination of absolute molar masses, molar mass distributions, and molecular architecture distributions. However, these sophisticated hyphenated techniques can only be operated and resulting data can only be reasonably evaluated if a compatible supporting software is provided. PSS therefore offers the WinGPC Unichrome software, which enables to record and evaluate data for GPC SEC systems, such as the PSS Security Square, which is further compatible for the hyphenation with various detection techniques, including the concentration detectors, molar mass sensitive detectors, such as the viscometer or light scattering detector, and mass spectrometry. The GPC SEC hyphenation with concentration detectors, such as the UV and RI detector, allows for the determination of molar mass distributions and averages, but is also commonly used to quantify the amount of individual macromolecular species in the mixture. As a complementary detection type to concentration detectors, light scattering gives directly access to the absolute molar mass of each data slice. Light scattering detection can be further divided into static light scattering, which provides information on the radius of duration, and dynamic light scattering. The latter gives access to the hydrodynamic radius of a macromolecule. When GPC is hyphenated to a viscometer, the intrinsic viscosity of a molecule is obtained primarily, and as a second information, viscometry allows also for the determination of the molar mass. When GPC SEC is coupled to mass spectrometry, and this advanced combination is supported by a compatible software like our WinGPC Unichrome software, the chemical structure of macromolecules can be identified. This includes the repeating units, functional end groups, or even the backbone structure. After we have seen a broad variety of possible advanced SEC coupling options, I would like to highlight and compare the concentration detectors with UV and RI at one hand, with the light scattering detector as molar mass sensitive detector on the other hand. Molar mass sensitive detectors, such as the multi-angle light scattering detector, are highly sensitive at high molar masses even at low concentrations, as shown in the chromatogram to the left-hand side. Blue is the signal of the static light scattering detector at 90 degrees, red is the UV signal, and green the RI. While both concentration detectors give us a right information on the number of particles in solution, so the concentration, the other signal behaves differently. This is due to the fact that light scattering detectors are molar mass sensitive detectors, meaning that the signal intensity depends strongly on the molar mass and on the concentration. So the light scattering signal shows highly intense peaks for molecules with high molar masses, even at a very low concentration, but on the other side, its sensitivity decreases with decreasing molar mass. With this slide, I would like to point out the main differences of UV and RI compared to the light scattering detection. As previously mentioned, UV and RI are concentration detectors, and thus their signal intensity depends only on the concentration and the substance parameters, meaning the refractive index increment and extinction coefficient. To determine the molar mass with UV or RI only, a calibration with calibration standards of known molar masses is required. On the other hand, both are suitable for quantification and qualification. Light scattering detection belongs to the family of molar mass sensitive detectors. For the determination of the molar mass, substance parameters such as the refractive index increment and a precise concentration are required. Light scattering gives access to the analyte's properties in solution, the structure, interaction behavior, and provides the molar mass, the second virial coefficient, radius of duration, and the hydrodynamic radius. Next to all the detectors for running system, columns are the heart of any GPC SEC equipment and thus truly deserve their own chapter. Let us have a look at the new PSS MAB stationary phase released in 2020. The silica-based material comprises 3 micrometer particles with an optimized pore size range applicable for the separation of MAB aggregates, monomers, and fragments. It offers more pores in the higher and lower molar mass range and thus higher resolution. It is pre-equilibrated for direct use with light scattering detection, like our MALLS detector SLD 2020. The column is also optionally available in a BioInert-coded column hardware. This new product is also suitable for 2D LC-SEC MS. When combining multiple techniques, different structural characteristics such as the molar mass, amino acid sequence, deamidation, oxidation, fragmentation, and aggregation can simultaneously be assessed. 2D LC, operated in hard cutting or multiple hard cutting modes, is highly promising. This concept has recently been taken to the next level by combining protein A affinity chromatography, GPC-SEC, and LC-MS in a multiple hard-cutting three-dimensional setup. For protein and MAb applications, we recommend to use our PSS MAB column in combination with a 34 millimolar phosphate buffer and additional sodium chloride. This method showed high robustness throughout various measurements, and the injected protein and MAb samples could be completely recovered from the column. With the presented analytical tools in mind, we will change the subject and have a look at applications using our PSS security square system, including the new PSS MAB column, as well as the SLD 2020 light scattering detector for a sophisticated characterization of proteins and MABs. To share some more application data, this slide here shows the results of forced aggregation studies on one MAB column. We see on the left-hand side the change in aggregation with time, and on the right-hand side the results of the reductive fragmentation. The reduced IgG has less oligomers, trimers, and dimers, and shows a peak appearing for the half-body MAB, as well as an increased number of fragments. With this slide and results shown before, the PSS MAB column covers a broad separation range from oligomers down to fragments, with a high resolution. In order to obtain meaningful results, a GPC system must also be supported by a compatible software. With this slide, I would like to shortly demonstrate how our WinGPC Unichrome software makes it possible to process complex data in a user-friendly way. In addition to the 4 regular windows showing your method, raw data, allogram, and the molar mass distribution, you can additionally evaluate and process your data of the hyphenated detection techniques in an additional window, here exemplarily shown by means of the light scattering window. It includes the elution profile of a sample, which was recorded with the according concentration detector, but it also shows the determined molar mass within the same chromatogram. Furthermore, the software allows to process the light scattering data slice-wise, and so it gives you direct access to the molar mass and radius of duration of each particular slice in the chromatogram. Finally, I would like to give you a brief overview of our products that we can recommend for protein and MAb analysis in order to obtain reproducible, high-quality data. Our PSS Security Square GPC system is compatible for coupling with the SLD 2020 light scattering detector, and as the heart of any successful GPC-SEC experiment, our PSS MAB column is well designed for long-term performance and covers a wide separation range for MAB applications. All these products are available for BioInert applications on request. Last but not least, to operate your sophisticated SEC system with all its possible detection options, as well as to gain reliable data and enable to evaluate these, our WinGPC Unichrome software meets the demand of an all-round and easy-to-use solution. And with this encouraging first results, I would like to conclude and thank you for your attention and all my PSS colleagues for their support. If any of the subjects discussed triggers any questions, or if you would like to receive more information, please feel free to contact us anytime. Me and the whole PSS team look forward to fruitful discussions and interesting questions.